So Jared,
Yes.
you ever been to Texas?
Oh yeah.
What parts?
Been all over.
Yeah, what parts have you been to?
All the major ones: Austin, Houston, Dallas. At least those three. Definitely some more smaller ones too. I don't think I've been to
West Texas.
I don't think I've been to where you were just
Amarillo.
at. Though. Yeah,
West
I don't think
Texas.
so. Doesn't sound familiar.
Well,
How was it?
You're missing out.
Am I?
I don't know. It's the old, the old Route 66 goes through there. So
Oh, okay.
Good old the Cars movie. I don't know what state they're in.
I like how that's your reference to Route 66 is the Cars movie.
But yeah,
Not the songs or anything.
but yeah, it's got the famous the Texan restaurant,
Oh, okay.
right? Where
So you went there
I went there.
to this? Nice.
The vibe is
Immaculate.
tradition. The vibe is what you would expect, like an old classic, almost like Western steakhouse, like what it
That's
should be,
cool.
not the Western sizzling.
No, definitely not Western sizzling.
But yeah, so where they have the famous 72-ounce steak and sides you get for free if you can eat the whole thing in an hour,
72 ounces in an hour.
plus the sides.
Oh, you got to finish it all.
Let's just say like some shrimp cocktail, a roll, a couple other things, some veggies.
That would be tough.
72 ounces.
I can eat a lot of steak, but I don't. Yeah, that'd be tough.
72 ounces.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like a 16-ounce ribeye is a big steak.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when I make steak, I usually do ribeyes and I usually eat like 2 and that's it. So, and
Yeah.
I'm very full. So,
Yeah, and that's
that would be like 30.
16 ounces. Well, yeah, but that's a big ribeye. 16 ounces.
Yeah,
Is a big
I don't remember how big. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's not doable.
So then, yeah, even if you're going for a big, yeah, you're probably in 32, not 72.
Okay.
So think of eating like 4 or 5 of the steaks you
No.
probably make in one sitting in an hour, plus
No.
other things.
So you didn't accomplish this?
No, I just observed someone fail at it while I was there.
Oh, so you didn't see anyone?
There was the guy.
Completed.
There was a young gentleman that
Young
tried
whippersnapper.
it, and which is when if I was going to do this,
Yeah.
somewhere in my mid-20s when I could eat
Yeah.
and never stop and never get hungry,
Yep.
that would be when to try this. But that's
Yeah.
not in my 40s. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, this guy he looked like he was about that age, and yeah, he did not even come close.
I did do one. It's a local one here that's not there anymore, restaurant, but I did finish back in the day a challenge from, I guess it was still Hemp and Hill then.
Oh, I didn't know they had a challenge.
Yeah, this was a long time ago, but it was like a burger that was, well, for the audio only listeners, I don't know, very, very, very tall. And it was like that and like everything it came with. And yeah, if you finished it, I don't know how long, you get it for free. And I don't remember the name of it, but I was there with some people and one of the people was like, oh, hey, I don't remember who all I was there with, but he was like, yeah, I'll pay for it if you don't finish it. But either way, I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, I had free food. It was easy. Like I was like, I could still eat some more. So that one was not 72 ounce steak, but yeah, that was great. Just a massive burger.
Yeah.
With like 5 different kinds of meats on it, which I imagine Texas probably has something like that. They probably do.
Well, there's the heart
all
attack.
kinds of barbecue.
The heart attack burger place.
Yeah.
I think it's in like Vegas or LA, somewhere out there.
Okay.
It's just a giant burger that, yeah, if you feed it all.
Did you have any barbecue? Because that is
So that was the interesting. They didn't have it up there.
because Texas barbecue. Is,
I know. Well, last year I was in Dallas, yeah.
Yeah.
But and it was fantastic. But
Yeah.
we asked around and everyone's like, no. And you're like, oh.
So it's only certain parts of Texas.
So I guess, this is like North Texas, like Northwest Texas. So
interesting.
yeah. It's a little different out there, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Texas is a wild place. Every area is very different. So did you do anything else notable? Anything else exciting?
Checked out the Cadillac Ranch
Nice.
and went to a Buc-ee's.
Mm-hmm. That's a highlight. To
Any
is it mainly?
I mean, they're in the South. I mean, like because they're further out now. They're not just in Texas, but
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, mainly like Midwest, though, because I
No,
don't think it's anywhere on the East Coast at all.
no, I think they are now.
Really?
Starting to
Oh, maybe now.
just on, but like still in the South. So I think they have someone 81 somewhere further
Oh,
south.
really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to investigate, see how far I have to drive to get to one.
Mm-hmm.
But
Have you been to one?
no, because I would have, but it's been a while since I was my touring days, so
Yeah.
they were not around then,
Yeah,
or at least not that I knew of.
Yeah.
Then, so I don't know, but that was when I went to a lot of places in Texas, and I remember doing barbecue for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Wherever all of our listeners are from, if you don't know about Sheets, at least, because that just reminded me that they are expanding a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are, you might be able to go to a Sheets gas station and get some food now, which is some of the best from where we live. But it's expanded pretty much all the East Coast now, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know beyond that now, but
they definitely branched out some.
yeah. Top tier.
Mm-hmm.
The old debate of Wawas or Sheets.
Sheets.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. But a lot of people say Wawas, but
Mm-hmm.
I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for the comments. Argue amongst yourselves in the comments.
Yeah.
What's better?
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time TV, a podcast where we discuss latest streaming show, currently covering Last of Us Season 2. But before we get into that, a little bit of what we've been watching in Based or Waste.
Yes.
So, I'm going to give you one chance, Jared, to tell the truth.
Man, you went there. Okay.
All right, my name's Josh, and this is my co-host, Jared.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a good motto in any situation.
Yeah, totally.
Even if you're not in a post-apocalyptic scenario.
Yep. Just good all around
Yes.
advice. All right, so yeah, we don't have any feedback, right?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
Y'all been slacking. You gotta write
send
in.
it in. Send it in.
You don't have to write into the email.
Yeah, you can
Even
send
if you
comments or
want.
something.
Yeah, feedback@screentimepod.com. But just leave a comment or DM us on Instagram or whatever else, and we can we'll do them up top on the TV pods. And you can just write about anything. I personally, I'm very curious about the Last of Us people, especially now with season 2. If are you a video game Last of Us person or just a show watcher? I'm very curious in those differences. So let us know.
All right, well, let's get into what we've been watching.
Okay.
What do you got?
I only have one thing besides, I'm sure you're going to mention the studio like we've been every week, which is, I did watch that,
Yeah.
of course, but I didn't put that down as one of mine.
I did.
So-
I did put it down.
Okay. So you probably have more than me. You might have a lot more next week. You have a lot of playing time.
I don't
To,
know
watch
about
stuff?
plane time, but yeah, I definitely have some time.
Okay.
And maybe some hotel room time.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Depends on the other stuff we got going on.
Yeah.
Well, I saw King of Kings, the movie.
Oh. Our mom was just talking about this, and I was not that familiar with it, but I know she really wants to see this.
Oh, they saw it. They saw it Friday.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Oh, maybe that's what I should.
yeah. So they.
Oh no, I was talking to her on Wednesday. She had
Mm.
not seen it yet.
Yeah, they saw it Friday, and
Cool.
I saw it Saturday.
How is it?
Kirsten and I thought it was pretty good. The so I think so here's just a little blurb about it. Through a father's vivid storytelling, a boy journeys through the life of Jesus, from humble beginnings to ultimate sacrifice. Along the way, I can't read. He discovers the transformation power of faith. And I think it's for a story that I'm very familiar with. It's kind of a way to give a fresh perspective, having this surrogate of a young boy learning the story for the first time. And he's kind of, as they progress in the different scenes and the dad's telling the story, they're like there to experience, and his little cat, so they take these little opportunities for some funny comedic moments for the kid, like he tries to stop them and they come for Jesus to take him away, and then the dad moves him out of the way real quick, because he's like, you can't, so just, and then that's like funny actually. But there was other times where there's like little interactions where they kind of stuck in the scene, but also just the way allowing the kid to react in a fresh, like react as if he was hearing it for the first time and experiencing it for the first time, really can bring back those fresh thoughts and emotions that like maybe we don't always think about as much because of it being such a familiar story.
Definitely.
So I thought that was like a good way to approach that and make it and then also makes it approachable and relatable to a kid watching it and getting to see like that kid see themselves in that kid that's getting to learn and observe it as well. So
yeah, speaking of that, how did Kirsten feel about it?
She liked it. She liked it. Yeah.
Nice. What is this just reminded me, what is the name of the movie that's not out yet that looks like Dune that you showed me the trailer of?
Oh, the Zero AD.
Zero AD. There we go. Yeah, that looks sick.
Which is like a great title too. Being like, hey, that's why it's AD and BC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's kind of that.
Do we know when that's
focal point? Christmas.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or December. It might be
around that.
But yeah.
Cool.
Well, we'll do the studio. Just want to touch the studio this week.
Every week.
The title, the War.
The War. Still great.
Is frustrated by her position in the office hierarchy. Quinn wages a war against Sal.
I think Sal is like becoming, every episode I'm like, I like him more and more.
Yeah.
That actor is.
Yeah, he's doing a great job playing the douche bag. But then like having like in this one, we get to see him have dinner with his two daughters and like the frustration that he's trying to but also seeing like, he's a workaholic and absentee father in general.
Yeah. I love when he's having dinner with his daughters. And he mentions like famous people, and they're just like,
they don't care.
I don't care. I have no idea who you're talking about.
And then they both like kind of ditch him, and he's like, I canceled a meeting with somebody famous just to be here with you guys. And they're like, I don't care.
This is not Mr. Beast. I don't care.
But yeah, and
it is just a side note because it's weird. Also, maybe to yours and my generation, it's sad, but like younger generations not caring about celebrities, whether they be actors, directors, musicians, whatever, and like more so, or just like to them as the person they are like, holy crap, like idolize as a YouTuber or a TikTok person is just crazy, but that's the way it is.
Yeah. Well, they cross over. I mean,
they do.
And there's probably people that were like felt the same way about, radio versus TV, or, anytime the medium changes, or it probably, shifts a little bit. Because even like, even with music, it's like, obviously there's different styles and genre. And so then like the young people will be more into a certain genre, and the people that are famous in that genre. And then, the people that are decades older are like, what about these people? Of course, sometimes it comes back around. Like
they do, but it's always going to be a thing. It's just weird right now with, like what qualifies as a celebrity. It's just strange to me now, but it's just
YouTubers, streamers that play games and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Cause like I found out, cause I still have not seen the Minecraft movie, but I found out like people were going crazy for certain, I don't know, I guess they're cameos in that movie that are, I guess, like some of the biggest Minecraft people.
YouTubers.
Yeah, or something. And it's like, to all the people watching this, is just like, that's an amazing moment, but it's like, I wouldn't care, you know? So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the studio
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
on Apple.
You should watch it. Apple
yes,
TV Plus.
You should.
And the King of Kings is in the theater. It's not,
Yeah.
not streaming anywhere yet.
I
But
guess,
yes.
do we know how many episodes? Are we halfway through the studio?
I don't know if it's 8 or 10, would be my guess, but I don't really
I
know.
hope it's 10, because it's pretty short.
The short episodes, yeah.
Besides, I guess, the first episode, it was longer. But yeah, they've been pretty consistently 30 minutes now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just mention also again, just your friends and neighbors. Your friends and
Your friends and neighbors.
Your friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
I started saying that, and then I was like, "Was that right?"
Yeah.
That's been good too. Like,
Yes, it has.
like the third episode came out, and watched that, and
yeah, I really.
it just honestly, I just like watching John Hamm. Like
Same.
I mean, I
You know,
feel
he's
like
so different
Yeah,
in
I
this.
feel like if it was somebody else in this role, I don't know if I'd like the show as much, but
I
just
agree.
him in this role, just like watching him.
Also, the situation is just interesting,
It is,
and everything
It
that
is.
like ripples around him
Mhm.
as a result. Yeah.
But anyway, or what do you got before
Yeah,
I get
well-
into some other stuff?
No, I'm glad you, because I was gonna wait till maybe next week, or I don't know, like until I watch a few more in, but of Your Friends and Neighbors is a good example. Like, I don't have that down on my list, but I am caught up on it. But with a lot of these Apple shows, like I wait a few, like I'm very behind on Dope Thief and like different ones like that. But I was immediately really into Your Friends and Neighbors, so but I will probably maybe next week or the week after, like maybe when they're like halfway through, I'll bring it up and maybe talk about it a little bit more deeply. But I did watch more of that. But my only one is another new Apple show.
Mhm.
I wonder if you check this out,
I
because
did not
it's
yet.
so strange. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, government cheese.
Yes. So I had no idea what this is about, but I usually check out pretty much any new
Mhm.
Apple show, just because they've been killing it lately. Weird name, even though you get context for it in the first episode, why it's called that. But so I went into this completely blind, and this is a weird rollout too, because it's 4 episodes came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which they don't ever do.
That's yeah.
Very strange. I had to I double checked it at one point, because I'm like, why? And this is very similar to the studio, where the first episode's like 45 minutes, and then the rest of them are
30.
all 30. Yeah. But so I actually really enjoyed going into this completely blind, because I had no idea what it's about. But it's set in the 1960s.
Yeah. Good, check. Good.
Good for me. Yeah.
On the pros and cons list, that's a check on the
It
pro side
is.
so far for
It
Jay.
is, and it the way it's shot and that time period looks really beautiful. Like, they kind of make it, which they do with a lot of stuff in like the mid-century, is like make the colors really pop, so it's like really saturated, which I love. It's about a guy that's basically freshly out of jail, and he this is very weird when I get into this, but and he gets, when I tie it together at the end, it'll make sense. But he gets like he keeps getting divine interventions from God and or something spiritual, which is a good premise. And then he starts inventing an electric drill that sharpens itself while you use it.
This is so obscure.
Yes, it is. But like I said, when I explain, because the tone of this, I was really trying to figure out as I went, because I had no idea about the show. And then I came up with, I'm like, okay, this is what it feels like. It's very quirky overall. I already watched all 4. I actually really like it. But I figured out what it is, I think. It is a combination of, to me, of a little bit Napoleon Dynamite and a little bit Wes Anderson.
Okay.
So very weird and very specific. But Wes Anderson movies have a very specific feel and tone, especially with the comedy. Napoleon Dynamite, the type of comedy, especially like physicality of it, is very specific, and this has a little bit of both of those. I don't know how else to explain it. You'll just have to watch it because it's like, I think it'll help if you go in with that mindset, because when I first started it, I couldn't really wrap my head around it until I got a little ways in, and then I was like, it clicked with me. So I don't know if they need to sell it a certain way to help with this, because I don't know how the show will do. I mean, I hope it keeps going. I really like our main actor. He looks familiar. I don't remember the actor's name. I've seen him in other things, but his wife, I really like her. She was in Luke Cage and some other stuff. His two sons, I think they're the most like Napoleon Dynamite-ish, and they're very funny. Complete opposites too. What is it? There's one other character I did recognize. Anyway, the cast is really good. Like, specifically the characters are all very weird and different and interesting, just like in Napoleon Dynamite and Wes Anderson. So anyway, you should go into it with that mindset. I think you'll like it even more, because I really do now. But a little surreal at times too. It's just, I just know that I hope it does well, but I bet a lot of people will not like it. But I really do like it. Maybe that's why they put out 4, because they weren't sure how people will receive it. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
I've never seen them do that before. It's either a couple or the whole season they put out at one time.
Yeah, but have they put out the whole season? Apple's never put out the whole season at once.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I guess they're one of the ones that don't ever do that. Yeah.
I think they're the ones that kind of pioneered the
3?
The like, yeah,
two or
3 and
yeah, because then Amazon started doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is also an Apple. I really like it, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's very unique. But
Maybe
I think it looks really visually more on the Wes Anderson side, which is also very specific. So it's cool. I'm assuming you are going to check this out.
I had it on my list to check out.
Okay. Yeah, you should. And it's very quick. 30 minutes.
Cool. Then the other things I got, just gonna mention briefly, Side Quest. Watched 2 more episodes of Side Quest. And since they're like one-offs, just so the episode 3 is just about a young cellist who joins a touring video game orchestra. And she thinks it's like her dream to do this, and then discovers what happens when your dream job becomes a nightmare, and that's basically what happens.
Okay.
And it's kind of like there's a thing I've talked about sometimes, just doing something creative that you like as your job, and it's like, and kind of keeping that balance of like not allowing it to get suck you too much into where then it's like it's just a job and you don't like doing this thing anymore that you actually like doing.
Yes.
And it can ebb and flow into that a little bit, but but it's and it kind of touches on that and kind of deals with that. So
nice.
But then episode 2, called The Pull List, is about a Black-owned comic book shop which is only 1 copy of the latest Mythic Quest comic, and 5 super fans fight over who deserves it the most.
Okay.
And this brought back so much nostalgia for back when I was a young lad collecting comics, and you had your pull list that you'd go in, and I think once a week, and like because they'd come out different times, and they would have like already in a little paper bag the ones that you were just gonna buy all the time and get their monthly release, and
nice.
So it was just that, and then that vibe, and the whole episode's a bottle episode. All takes place in this like comic book store. It was good.
Cool. So
that's my favorite of the ones I've seen so far. But still, can't remember how many there are, but I know there's at least one more.
4.
Yeah, so at least one more that I haven't seen. But
well, I was just wondering because I know you didn't really like the first one.
Yeah, first
so
one.
You like the other 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I like that one the best so far.
What's the update on Mythic Quest? Because you talked about this last week.
That's what I was going to, the last thing I was going to mention.
I was curious about this.
Rewatched the new ending. So they re-released.
Oh, they already did.
They re-released last Friday, re-released the final episode, and it's got the alternate ending now that's like the finale ending.
Okay, so it's not an extra episode.
No.
That's what I thought.
It's literally, I mean, I wasn't sure until I went back and watched it, but just to let you know, it's literally like the final scene of the movie, of the episode is different now.
That's the only difference. Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the one that what they did previously, I guess, was there to kind of like tease something that then they could play with in the next season. But then when they decided to not renew it for another season, then I guess they have this alternate thing that's more of like a, just like, well, and they kind of continue on, and indefinitely, for the ends of the.
Is it a good ending, or? I
think it's a good ending. It's just funny, like knowing what the other ending was and seeing how they, there was a difference. So yeah. So that's all I got.
Okay. So
Based or Waste?
I'm still, yeah. Well, no, I'm thinking of Mythic Quest. I haven't even watched like any of the newest season, but I guess I don't know. I kind of don't want it to end.
Yeah, I mean, it's still worth. I would say it's still worth watching it.
Okay.
I mean, just and then once you watch it, we can talk about because sure. I don't know if you can watch the old ending now. I mean, maybe if you find it online somewhere, but
it's
YouTube.
So weird. Like, are we at the days now of like patching episodes?
It's kind of what this was. Patched. That's kind of what this was, because it was just like a.
I don't like that feature.
Yeah, I mean, they did that with Game of Thrones a couple times, where there was like
coffee cup.
Yeah,
it's very rare, but maybe not anymore.
I mean, this was kind of a unique. I don't say unique, maybe it's not. But like for
it's
them,
weird. It's like, so it was just like a very recent Apple decision,
I guess.
And then they were like, shoot, let's.
I imagine they probably.
There's no way they would have just done it last minute. Apple been like, oh, actually, just kidding.
I wonder if it was on the fence and they weren't sure, and so when they filmed the stuff, they filmed, alternate endings, and so they already had it queued up. It's just a matter of like getting it ready and updating it. And
that's probably what. Yeah, that makes more sense. All right.
And again, it was never like when the announcement, it was never something about, like, it was very weird because it was like, oh, Mythic Quest is canceled. It wasn't like Apple decided. So, and it didn't say either way. So it might have been one of those things that just like Rob Malecki and the show creators were kind of on the fence, and they kind of were leaning towards wanting to do more. And then maybe by the time it came out and they saw maybe the numbers in general, and Apple's like, well,
right.
Here's what's doing. They might have been like, hey, here's where it's at, so we can give you this budget to do another season. And maybe they were like, well, we don't really want to do a season that low budget. And they have this kind of a mutual decision of like, oh, then let's just cancel it.
No, that makes sense.
I don't know. I'm just like speculating. Obviously, but.
Well, I was going to say too, because this kind of goes along with it, is speaking of him, Rob McElhenney, I think is how it's.
I don't know.
Something like that. It's been a long time since the last season of It's Always Sunny, and I finally just saw that they did date the next season, which is season 17, which is insane that's where they're at with the show. But all of them are so busy now that it takes a long time for new seasons to come out because they do so many other things, all of them. So I'm just happy that it's finally coming back in June or July. So maybe he wants to do, I don't know, I'm sure he'll do other stuff, but maybe he wants to get more locked into Sunny again and do more of that quicker. I don't know. All right. It is time. Insert graphic here.
It's time for Based or Waste.
All right. Welcome back to Based or Waste. We go on Rotten Tomatoes. Check and see what's trending. Today we are doing TV. So we check and see what's trending for TV. And I picked 10 of them. And Josh will guess if they're good or bad Based or Waste. And this will go off of the audience score. Josh had a perfect run last week, which is, it's been a minute since that's happened. So, I'm hoping, I'm pulling for you that you'll have another perfect, but I think this is going to be tougher this week.
Okay.
With TV. I still picked all ones that I believe you're familiar with, or mostly. There's a few easy ones in here, but some of these are going to be tricky.
Okay.
And one in here I know we've done before that I wanted to get an update on because it looked like the score changed a lot. So, Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Play along at home too. Leave in the comments. Let us know how you do. And if you like guessing the films or TV more, because I don't know. I look up all of them, so I don't really have a say in this, but Josh has been better with movies lately. So we'll see.
Yeah, I used to be better at TV, so I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know what that says about me, but
It's what I say last week. We're a divided nation with even Rotten Tomatoes. All right. First one is Black Mirror season 7, which I was going to ask you also. Did you?
I haven't watched it.
You haven't gone into this yet. Okay. I'm continuing with it, but
I'm going to say based on this.
Yeah, 73.
Okay.
I don't think this has ever had a bad score. All seasons. Even there's been weaker episodes, but not as season.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Your Friends and Neighbors, season 1.
I'm going to say based.
Yes, 76. It seems a little low. I think that should be higher for that show, but
I can see they were the general audience. Yeah, but
all right, this is the one I wanted to revisit. Now that actually the show is over, which I have not watched more of yet. Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah,
just finished.
I haven't watched it anymore. Let's say based still.
Yes, 81. I don't remember what it was at before. Check the tape, but it seemed to change somewhat.
Okay.
I'm dodging spoilers for it, but sounds like it was a good season finale, which is good to see. All right, this next one you mentioned last week or the week before. I have not seen this yet, but Dying for Sex, season 1.
I'm going to say based.
It's going to be...
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Maybe I'm just not as high on this show as you. I thought it was going to be a little more tricky to guess, but 76, it's a pretty standard.
I'll say I wouldn't.
Do you agree with 76?
Did you watch it?
No, I saw the trailers for it. And I was just like, yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't say I was like super high on it, but I would probably give it like 6 or 7. Like I wouldn't. So.
All right, this is. We might have done this before, but this is the final season now. I think final season. Finally, The Handmaid's Tale, season 6. This is tricky because I can't believe this show is still going. Because from what I've seen, it's gotten worse.
Say waste. I'm going to say waste on this.
It's on the line, but it is at a based. But I believe it was last time we did do this. It was waste. So maybe this final season is a little better.
Yeah, I know they're doing like a spinoff prequel or something.
Oh, jeez.
Because there's another different book or something.
Okay,
but yeah,
it's too much. That show, the first season was so strong too, and to me, it just went downhill. All right, halfway through. This one, I'm curious if you are familiar with this. This just came out, and it's very strange. Ransom Canyon, season 1.
Oh, I know what this is. Yes, I've not watched it
on Netflix.
Yes, Netflix. I'm gonna say based on this.
You know what though? It is
the formula.
It is incredible how much it's ripping off Yellowstone.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it is, but I don't think it probably matters. People just want.
No, you're right.
Yep.
Base 68. It looks awful. Like they are shameless with how much they're ripping off Yellowstone. But people still like it. You're right.
Yeah, that was that bad because like
Yeah. I think it looks awful, but
I'll probably check it out.
it's Netflix, so it's all out.
I'll report back next week.
All right, you do that. I like the two main actors.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I'm watching
The girl, she was in a video game semi recently, but besides that, I have not seen her do any acting. Like she was kind of more big in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All right. You know what? Now this next one, maybe we did this already, but Hacks season 4.
Based.
Yes, 88. This is still high.
We probably didn't because it's only been out.
No, it just
it's
came
only
out.
been
Yeah, you're right. So we wouldn't have.
We wouldn't have been able to cover season 4 2 weeks ago. Last time we did TV.
You're right. So I'm just getting confused. We probably did the whole.
Maybe the whole
First
thing,
3.
or yeah. Which actually, I watched the latest episode. That was good too.
All right.
Didn't even have that in the update, but
Yeah. I hope you watch this Ransom Canyon because I got to know what this.
But yeah, I've never seen Yellowstone, so I can't compare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've only watched a little bit of Yellowstone because that's like the only Taylor Sheridan show I don't like. But I'm familiar enough with it to know the formula, and it is shamelessly ripping it off. But write in if you have watched Ransom Canyon and let us know how it is. It's still going to be in the Netflix top 10, I bet.
Probably.
Because that's just how Netflix is. All right. This next one's an old one. I always like when something old just randomly pops up trending. 11/22/63.
Oh.
This is a Stephen King miniseries that I loved when it came out. This was probably 7 years ago, if I had to guess.
I'm going to say based.
Yes, 88. This was a really good... Stephen King is hit or miss with the adaptations, though.
Mm-hmm.
This was awesome. Really good cast, too. Speaking of the 60s, that's why I also loved it. But it was just cool to see a kind of alternate history, JFK, potentially. Cool idea. All right, here's an easy one for you. Solo Leveling Season 2. This is a very, very popular anime. So
based.
yeah, I would say it's
like I don't know. Either.
You're right. Yeah, anything really popular anime is always rated insanely high. This is a 95.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. Last one, very relevant to what we're about to get into. The Last of Us Season 1. This is going to be tricky, I think.
Season 1? This is season 1.
No, Season 2. I did it in real time to see where are we at.
This is season 2.
Season 2. Yep. That's what I'm saying is what's the general consensus right now on Season 2? This is not factoring in episode 2 though.
Oh, okay. So before last night.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been already any different. Maybe we'll revisit it though after.
I mean, I was still guess based, but I don't know.
I thought so too. It's right below the line though. It's at a 51 waste currently.
Oh,
Even after the first episode, because I checked yesterday.
oh, because it's been. I did see something about people are saying that there's been internet bombing it because there's.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, I guess the fans aren't happy about something they did.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how people think of it after this episode. Okay. Yeah, we might want to. We should revisit that and see how much that score changes for this season. All right. Hey, this is still pretty good. Got an 8. Nice. All right. That's it then. We'll be back to film next week. Thank you for playing, Josh. Still did pretty well. An 8. That has been Based or Waste. Tune in next week.
All right. So let's get into The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, Through the Valley. As a storm brews in the mountains, the people of Jackson Hole prepare for the worst amid increasing sightings of infected. Meanwhile, Abby weighs her options.
That's a very interesting description.
Yeah.
I got to hear what you think first with this, because I have knowledge of all this.
Right. Well, you don't
Josh
know.
is
You don't know what they're going to tweak or change.
No,
or how
which
they're
is
gonna...
why I'm excited for it to see what they add or change. But yeah, I want to hear.
I mean, I thought this episode was good. I thought like, hey, after last one where it was like mostly kind of resetting things up since they did a time jump, this one got right into getting some major action and major drama, kind of.
Oh yeah,
like amped it up quickly.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. So how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I like this one more than the first episode. But that's partially because it's pretty.
They didn't waste time.
High level.
Yeah, they didn't waste any time to get into things.
No,
like,
and it wasn't like a setup at all, like the last the season opener. There's some small changes, but for the most part, it is very similar to the main story beats of this story. The only thing still, because I do like it, especially what they added. A lot of stuff with the infected is kind of newer stuff that is not technically part of the story. But the only thing this continues into this episode. I'm still not sure about Ellie, what they're doing with her character. That's the only thing I'm still not sure about. But everything else, I really liked.
Cool. Well, let's get into what happened this week. So we open with the Abby and her team taking shelter in a abandoned like ski lodge or whatever. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a house, I guess, but whatever.
Looks like
kind of a and she has a little dream sequence and trying to like deal with like her father's death.
This was cool. So that's what I want to ask you about. Now that you've seen the whole episode, you get the context for that. Mm-hmm. This is a really cool segment because you get something like this in the original story, but it was cool having Abby like kind of talking to herself and like which we'll get into when we get into the end. But I love how they tie the story from the first game to the second game, which is the same as tying the first season into the second season. I love how they tie them together. Yeah. No, it's good. Just think it's interesting. Like when she wakes up, it's like it really solidifies. Like she's like, yeah, we need to do this and kill Joel. Like it's like it added to her rage or anger or whatever. But right off the bat, you see how reluctant the rest of them are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then she goes out to patrol or whatever, and then her what's his name? Owen, right?
Yeah, Owen's the main dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of tells everybody else, well, my goal's to get her to change her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Before we leave.
That's his plan.
Yeah, leave here so we can just go back to Seattle.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was like ease into the setup for the... And then we get the Ellie telling Jesse that she wants to go patrol with Joel, which is interesting. Like, the little dynamic is after last episode, and she's like, I don't need you, whatever. Mm-hmm. Just ignoring him. And then I don't know if that's like, if she felt bad for how she treated him, and kind of was like, oh, I should go hang out with them or whatever. And so she was gonna patrol with him, but then, of course, then he tells her that he already left with Danny, right? What's her name?
Dina,
not Danny.
Yep.
Yeah, Dina. Left with Dina, and then she kind of goes on a rant about, you guys don't need to worry about us. We'll be fine. Blah blah. So those were good character moments of just seeing her express, like, even just as much as she's, we're not good right now, that he's still like, her father, so to speak. And like, it doesn't matter how bad things are, like it's still family, right? Like, kind of that idea. So we kind of get that set up there, which, obviously kind of preps for a little bit later in the episode, but
yeah. How do you feel about Ellie right now? Do you like her character?
yeah, I mean, I think,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it tracks with they're both of them having their stubborn personality that
Sure.
we
yeah.
saw in season 1, and then her basically between seasons going through puberty, basically, and wanting to, like, push away from the parental and make their own path, but then it's still, it's still your family. Like, it's, it's so, like, even when, and of course then he's not actually good at connecting with her in a way he should, and so it makes it for the tension stronger in between the two of them, because neither one of them are good at communicating with each other.
Yeah.
So to me it tracks in that sense, like, otherwise, and then of course she's an adolescence that's like, easy to get to fly off the handle and things like that, and kind of that person. So I mean, it seemed all like natural progression for them and the characters that we knew in season 1. So
Okay.
in the time jump, and her to also just lean into, I want to get better at a gun and being, doing all those things, which is we saw even in season 1. But
Yeah.
and so in a 5-year jump, it would be like, oh yeah, she'd become very good at this and kind of, hone her skills in that area.
But there's definitely stuff we don't know because there has been a 5-year time jump. There's stuff we don't know that either maybe has happened or has not happened between her and Joel.
Yeah.
That, because it's not just what we know at this point, where it's like she's basically suspected all along, like, oh yeah, you lied to me about, like, there's probably more that we don't know about.
Oh, you mean some interactions?
Yeah,
No,
just interaction wise. In 5 years, I mean, you don't.
Yeah, it might have been a couple times she questioned it, maybe, and he kept lying.
Yeah, yeah.
There's soon, we can get to that. And then, so then she goes out with, she does go on patrol with Jesse. And then Abby notices Joel and Dina. Of course, she doesn't know who it is, but, and kind of starts looking for her, kind of heading towards him. And then she ends up falling to that horde of, like, frozen.
Yeah.
That then wakes them all up. Which is interesting, because, like, they made a comment about that beforehand. Someone was like, oh yes, they say they've been hiding under the frozen bodies to stay warm or something like that. And someone's like, they wouldn't do that. And then,
I think that was like the very first scene of the episode.
Yeah. And then it's like,
cause I think Jesse says, like, there could be hundreds, thousands under there. You don't know.
Mm-hmm. So, so then she wakes them up and they start running after her, and she runs towards the mill building that happens to be where she was trying to get to anyway, because she saw Joel. And
I do want to mention the scene of her crawling through the chain link fence with all them, like, bearing down, and, like, really just that scene. I mean, I remember in the game too, that was a pretty big moment in the game, but in this, they did such a good job filming it that it really triggered my claustrophobia. Like, I was like, oof.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good moment. I like that.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, it was intense. So so then she kind of, Joel obviously saves her and then helps her, and then of course then the reaction that when she hears Dina call him Joel, and she realized, because I guess so she didn't even know what he looks like.
No, it was the last episode that, like, what they mentioned. All they mentioned was that he's like 6 foot, 60. Because they kind of recall it at the end of this episode. But 6 foot, roughly 60 years old, and handsome, I guess. Like I think those were really the only things they've mentioned.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I did early in this episode before she heads out, Owen like mentions like all the reasons it's going to be difficult to get in that place into Jackson Hole, and
yes,
and then he's like, but I've been working on a plan. Of course, that's when he's like, the plan is to get her to go, to not try to do it. But so but it was interesting to see her reaction and her like reach for her gun and realizing she didn't have it anymore as soon as she as soon as she heard him call Joel. But then of course then she didn't have time to really react because they had a more present issue with the horde after him. And then they have, but like, so I guess I wasn't sure. It was kind of like him, Joel and Dina, I guess, had been out there long enough that like she was starting to get like they were already starting to get frostbite or something. Like that wasn't clear.
No,
it was kind of weird that became this like side part of it.
Yeah, because Joel was fine, but she wasn't.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure. That was a little thing I was like, this is confusing.
It is.
And it was also like, why is this necessary? Unless it's like, because then they didn't even address it later.
Right, because they just put her to sleep.
So they put her to sleep. So then it's like, unless it's a way for her to lose her hand, and then so she doesn't have a hand later.
No,
like I'm like, that's the only, and then otherwise it's like, it was kind of a weird plot point. But anyway, it's
again, I'm not going to spoil anything. It's just, it seems like a convenient plot point they just added in to get her to then put her to sleep so she's not there for the whole ending, because she isn't in the game. Dina is not in the lodge. So
in the game, she's not in the lodge.
Yeah. So
but Dina's in the game.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Just in that moment. So I'm like, I guess to make it more like the game, they're like, all right, well, we got to put her out because she's with Joel.
Well, putting her to sleep part's not necessarily, that part didn't bother me. It was just the like with her frostbite and kind of like being like, oh, we don't have time to go all the way back to Jackson Hole.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like we can go to the lodge where my friends are, she says. And
yeah.
It's like, I guess that's what anyway. And then there was just like the frostbite thing was weird.
It's just characters that are kind of rearranged, because like the events, like the big events are still the same, but it's like character wise is very different. Because Tommy's supposed to be way more involved too.
Okay.
But he's just at Jackson using a flamethrower and dealing with a bloater, I think is the name of the big thing.
Yeah. So then back in Jackson, so they're digging and they hit the like, the,
it's like the cordyceps that are growing in
the roots looking like system, and they hit that, and that's what changes the horde from going after Joel and Abby and Danny or Dina. I don't know. I say Danny, Dina, and then switches over to heading towards the Jackson Hole.
Yeah,
which is interesting because it's like, okay, so they didn't even know that was there. It's like the horde just hadn't even found the town until then. So which helps Joel and them, but like obviously then they attack the whole freaking town. So
that's just another note I want to mention, is just how good all that looked. And they do, same in season 1, they do so well with like the practical effects, with like the way the infected look, whether it's just like the normal infected, like a lot of the ones in this, or if you're a clicker or a bloater like we see in this, all that looks really good. And just the scale and how much they do in this episode was crazy, and all looked really good.
Yeah. So this action scene was great, and definitely kind of good to put there in the second episode to really like give people, I guess, what they want, kind of thing. You don't know.
Yeah.
But it was, it was crazy to see. And then,
Well, I just want to say also, I love seeing all this because this is an addition. Like, this is not like this huge, like horde, like breaching Jackson is not in the game.
okay. Is it not in the game as far as like you didn't see it happen, but then like you hear about it?
Yeah, it might be mentioned later, but no, this is not like an event that you play through and like.
Right. Because you're obviously in the lodge.
Sure. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if they even mention it. I don't know. It's been a minute, but anyway, but it's just cool to see it visualizing this. That's what I was talking about. I like just seeing a horde on this scale and like what they would do to this town, which is like this town. It's like the closest to like being back to quote unquote normal civilization like they have around.
Right. And we talked about it a little bit last week.
Yeah.
I think I was like, yeah, you can see they're almost getting too comfortable.
Yes, you did mention that point.
And so this is a kind of reset of that. And, but also, not to spoil it, but they did survive. I mean, lots of people died, but looks like they did fight them off and kill off all the ones. And that, I guess then they just have to like clean up now. And we get that shot of like one guy that definitely got bit, and it's like, oh, I guess they're just going to shoot him,
Yeah, you see that real quick. Yeah. I mean, we know that from season 1 in some like really brutal moments, where, I mean, you just got to do that no matter who it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very similar to The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as you know they're infected, it's like, you got to just put them down, no matter who it is.
And you get I like how they still kept a character focus, with Tommy and his wife and Maria, and just seeing that interaction inside of all. I mean, there's still a couple moments where like
a little convenient.
Well, just like when the bloater started going for her, it was obvious it was like smart enough to know like this is who's trying to shoot at me, and we're gonna head to but then like he brought him off, but then like he's standing there and all this horde's going around.
That's
him.
What I was gonna say.
And I was like, they're not attacking him just so that the bloater can go after him. So that was a little but still I did like to see kind of see it from like their perspective, and then of course them kind of come together at the end. And
I want to know where because you see like a lot of them like are in the, I don't know, down in a basement or something, hiding. But like, I want to know where's our therapist? Where's she hiding at?
Yeah, probably down there. I mean, like in the different,
I guess,
because they put them all down. Mm-hmm. The people that weren't going to fight, or put them somewhere to keep them safe.
I mean, it's very much, which is cool. Obviously, different scale wise, but it is very Battle of Helm's Deep or whatever else. Like you see all of them hiding below, and then everyone that's fighting is on the.
Yeah, it's good. Good parallel. Yeah, it's similar to that.
Or a few different moments in Game of Thrones, which I guess would be a better parallel. Another HBO show, but.
Yeah. So then it was cool seeing getting Tommy just shooting the bloater with the flamethrower, and like. I really didn't know what was going to happen there, honestly. I mean, watching it, I'm like, it could go either way.
Yeah. Well, especially after this episode.
Well, either way, though, because I don't know. Tommy's Tommy's not necessarily center enough to be like a key character. He's just a secondary character.
He's still Joel's brother, though, so he's been there from the very beginning. Episode 1 of, because him and his brother with his original daughter when the outbreak happened. So yeah,
correct. Yeah. I know. I'm just like still. So then back at Abby brings Joel and Dina to the lodge, and of course, just as soon as they get in there, because she tells them we can just resupply and get my friends and we can head in, but then they turn on them quickly, and then she doesn't mess around. As we talked about, they put Dina to sleep, and then she's shoots Joel in the leg, then sees some golf clubs and starts going at it. So it's, the scene's fantastic from a character drama
Yeah.
acting.
I really want to know what you think of all this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the performances were crazy good.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but it's also brutal to see.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, then we get Ellie showing up towards the end. I guess she must have followed the tracks of the horses, and then she sneaks in there.
Yeah, I guess.
And they don't really, again, none of those is kind of like wave handy a little bit of like how she got over there.
Well, that's a little like some of the other things we talked about in this episode. Some of these things you gotta figure out in a certain way when you're adapting a video game, because like this is a moment where you're playing as Ellie and you are going up to the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
It's because in the game it jumps around a lot. So like,
Yeah.
how are you going to adapt that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a certain way? So yeah, I guess she's following the tracks. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, she obviously gets up there. Also thought she kind of got apprehended a little quickly.
Ellie did.
Mm-hmm. For as much as she seems to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was a little too easy for them to get her. Though they are supposed to be like militia or something, but like,
Yeah, it's the you see on the backpack the W
some kind of military something.
LF or
Yeah.
I forget what it's.
Military thing,
Yeah.
but like, so they are supposed to be super trained, but like at the same time, like she's pretty highly trained as well. And
Yeah.
so I just kind of thought, I would have thought she would at least got a shot off more like
Mm-hmm.
into somebody before getting apprehended, but whatever. And of course, then she gets to watch Joel die, and it's pretty intense. And
Yeah.
then they just kick her and leave her, and so her and Dina are just there, and
Mm-hmm.
Joel's body, and then of course the other guy, Jesse.
Oh yeah.
It must have been also out there looking for her, and came and found her and found them, and of course we see him dragging it back to the to Jackson home.
Yeah, I was surprised that they added in, because it looked like they were just going to end on them in the lodge. I was surprised they showed the scene of them, dragging his body back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to know what you think about this. Like, I mean, from what she does to him, it's like, I was going to ask you, like, do you really think he's dead? But it's like, I mean, what she ended up doing to him, pretty definite.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was this shocking to you? Because this is one of the biggest plot points in the game that was very divisive when the game came out.
Yeah.
And this is one of the biggest things I was so curious how they were going to address in the show, because it happens very early in the game. And so like, how much are they going to, and it was kind of ballsy of them to not drag it out, because I thought they would drag it out longer.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was definitely surprising, but I also like, you know, it's what, you know, good on them for, you know, being able to have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And storytelling, and get rid of the plot armor that
that's the other point. It's like, no one, you can, then you're,
it's kind of like
left to the rest of the story of like, no one's safe, like a Game of Thrones type thing.
Yeah, where like they
Yeah.
kill people off randomly that you would never expect, and you're like, oh. So yeah, I think it's a, you know, it's a good choice. We'll see where the story goes from there. Which is like one of my notes here at the end, like where does it go from here? Because it also, this kind of then resets things again.
Yeah.
From like a story standpoint, like now it's like, well,
yeah, I want to know where do you have any ideas?
I think Ellie's going to want to get revenge. So then,
well, I mean, she says, I'm going to kill you.
So whether she pulls in Jesse and Dina or whatever, and they all kind of go after him and chase these people down. But, of course, Jackson Hole seems like it fought those people off, so clean up and build back. Of course, they won't have a housing shortage anymore, but that they
Yeah,
were dealing
definitely
with
not.
in episode 1. The one thing I'm curious to see, because there was that 5-year gap,
Mm-hmm.
definitely still leaves them opportunity to do like flashback memories for Ellie
Mm.
and still bring in and still have Pedro Pascal show up in like
Yeah.
multiple episodes if they wanted to. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're gonna
that's
do
true. But yeah, it is hard to do. Yeah, how much do you still get him to be in it when he's such a high demand or in demand actor anyway?
Yeah.
That like, yeah, I don't know how. And then it's like you said, because of flashbacks or anything else, is like, is he going to be in next season, or like this might be it?
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about him scheduling wise, for next
Yeah.
season. I don't know, but I mean, it's just probably not something you just want to like look up and see the original scene of this in the game. But I will say it's worse in the game. It's brutal because just because the main difference is that Ellie has to watch, because she in the show she's there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
In the game she has to watch the whole time while Abby does everything to Joel. She's like pinned down. I mean, crazy good acting, just like in the show. The game is with him in the scene, but yeah, it's just, it's even more interesting with the game. Like it's like where do we go from here? But that's why I'm so interested in the show too, like how they're going to address it and what they do moving forward, because they've already added stuff too. So that's, again, like I mentioned last week, what I'm looking forward to is what they add / change or move around, because some of the stuff is like character stuff that they're moving around or changing. So
yeah.
But again, it's Neil Druckmann's very heavily involved, always has been in this show, which he's the creator of both games. So it's his baby. So, so it's like, it's not like it's something that he's not going to agree with.
Yeah.
Which is good. And I think I saw something he mentioned is just, even though this is a long story anyway, he said he wanted to expand on it even more. So I don't know if he came up with all this extra stuff, but it's cool to see that, he wants to flesh it out even more.
Yeah.
Just cool.
Well, so far so good. I mean, it's intense, but they're good.
Well, I already mentioned, I said, because, season 1 is dark, but yeah, this story is like so dark. And this is just one of the big moments. Like there's so much in this that I think is interesting, but also just very dark, but also gets to what I mentioned earlier, what I love about the way they tie in the two games.
Yeah.
Because you don't find this out till later, which I love the decision that they did this early on. That, like, you're like, why is she wanting to kill Joel? And you already find out, which you don't find out till very late in the original story, but you find out like, oh, the doctor so it's cool to see how much consequences for this decision in so many different ways, not only with like Ellie and how she's feeling towards him, but all these things that ripple out from the end of the first game or season. His decision to not save the world potentially and save his now daughter essentially. But I love how they tied into where, like, because you have no idea, you just see him shoot this doctor.
Yeah.
But I love that tying in, like, oh, this is a very important character now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's a really good decision, really cool way to show. So
yep.
And it gives you context for that opening scene, which I really like too, where you're not sure, like, where is she? But she's in the hospital and she's talking to herself and she's saying like, hey, you don't want to go in there, obviously referring to her dad. But yeah. So I like all that. And I just will continue to see just all the consequences and what ripples out from this huge decision that was made back in the end of season 1. So, which I like a lot. I think it's because I mentioned there's some things I don't like about the second game, but there's some really, really cool stuff still to come too that I really am interested in, and I'm curious how they're going to do it. So
Cool.
I just really like keep asking your thoughts every week because it's just fascinating the difference and seeing how you going into it just only with the show knowledge. It's just interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, what did you guys think
Yeah,
of
let us know also. Yeah.
episode 2 of season 2?
Do you hate The Last of Us video game part 2? Because it was very divisive when it came out. It came out, and also timing wise was bad. It came out like the start of COVID.
Oh, okay.
So people were already just upset
And
and
people were like, I'm playing Animal Crossing. Screw this. This is
yeah,
what
that's
happened.
literally what happened. Yeah.
Well, yeah, let us know. Write in.
Yeah.
Feedback at screentimepod.com or leave us a comment or DM. And you can follow us or like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah.
All right. And if you want to follow me or Jared on Instagram, you can follow me at jyoungbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time.